Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Yes, indeedy, we are finally going to be getting some, well, tasty revelations. Now, after they could congratulate themselves for getting rid of, Vexen, you know, probably because he was a cheating bastard whenever it came to their battles, now all that stands in their way is Sora, who they are trying to manipulate to become little more than their puppet. Considering what Xemnas actually had Axel in for as, you know, the organization's dirty deeds man, so to speak, I'm not exactly sure why Larxene is surprised that Axel had it in him to take out other organization members. I mean, I guess you could argue that 358 over 2 days did have the potential to expand upon this sort of concept where it explored the organization on like a more human level. To a certain extent it kind of did, but I don't know, I guess maybe just sort of building up the relationship between the organization members a little bit more, because while the focus was more so on Roxas, Axel, and Xion, I suppose a lot of people did kind of want a little bit more, you know, in terms of the other organization member backstories, but I guess considering the fact that Nomura, at least at some stage, 10 years ago, wanted to save that for a future game, or I guess in this case, Union Cross and Kingdom Hearts 3, I guess it does kind of put it in a bit of a weird perspective. And yeah, we're basically going to be getting revelations to all sorts of things. Namine's regret being a bit of a key theme. Namine, your life is nothing but a spiral of shame and misery. Dana being left behind with Axel, really. Blurred! It's Riku. Which Riku is it? Is it the real? The fake? We just don't know. Either way, he wants to do battle with us again for a third time, and this is around about the point when he starts getting a little bit more difficult as well. But alas, the way hearts function, Riku is just hiding behind his excuse of protecting Namine so he can really get to Sora's heart. The true thing he wants to protect. One thing I will say though, actually, in terms of a bit of an interesting thing with Kingdom Hearts 3, this version of Riku and, well, the other Riku, good and proper, have, like, a bit of an interesting dynamic in Kingdom Hearts 3, where it was kind of back and forth between, like, this sort of spiritual kind of thing. Don't really have anything to say without going to spoiler territory, but, it's kind of weird in a convoluted way, and, basically what it resulted in was getting, well, doing a little something for Namine, really. But yeah, these two apparently have the same backstory. Ain't that just a coinky-dink? So yes, now these two boys are gonna have their angsty little moment, and well, it could just be this point that pushes Sora to his breaking point, because this game has pushed him hard enough already. And for proof of what Riku seems to be talking about, okay, after the extermination thing went on here, yeah, I mean, if you haven't already pieced it together with what Vexen was saying, and with what, well, his backstory is now, apparently, including Namine, yeah, it seems that this Riku is nothing but a fake. But a fake what? We'll have to find out. Well, again, I think I've probably been heavy-handed with the references, so I'll probably can it right there. Let's get into battle time. The thing about Riku is that in terms of the abilities that he has, it is very similar to what he had during the Ansem Riku fight in Kingdom Hearts 1, where a lot of his abilities are kind of insanely powerful and you need to be really on the ball. Again, if you know how to play your cards right, as I keep on mentioning time and time again, if you know how to, well, basically just cancel out his attacks and, or use your effective strategies, you know, with the certain cards you have at your disposal, to the best of your ability, you should be okay, but even then, Riku isn't one to take lightly. I wouldn't say he's anywhere near the pain in the ass as Vexen is, but at the same time, keep an eye out. And this isn't the last time you face him either. We have one last encounter after this. That being said, though, he does also have some of his abilities that you can make use of in Reverse Rebirth. The ability you just saw right there with the Dark Faraga. That is very tasty. Again, I'll get into Riku's gameplay when I get to it. But for the time being, thankfully, unlike Vexen, who had a very meaty health bar, and as for an upcoming boss as well that has a very meaty boss health bar, well, yeah, things are probably going to get very insane this next couple of rounds, because while I do plan on finishing this tonight, we're finishing tonight, goddammit! Yes, well, let's just say things might go a little bit off topic. I'll do my best to stay on something at least relatively within the fray of Kingdom Hearts, but I make no promises. Anyway, we also have Ars Arcanum, which isn't quite as useful as you might think because you need to have very low-valued cards in order to use it. Very powerful ability, but it's one that can be easily broken, so, well, I don't know. You get more use out of it in Kingdom Hearts 1, I think. So many copies. Am I the real Sora, too? Yeah, and it transformed into a card. But yeah, debatably this is the final world in terms of Sora's memories, because after this world, we actually get to see the interior of Castle Oblivion. Well, I mean, by interior of Castle Oblivion, I mean basically the same sort of structures we've seen time and time again, which are, I guess, to kind of delve into spoilers a little bit, well, I mean, I guess if you would consider it a spoiler, since I did kind of mention before that this was the Land of Departure. You know what, I'll set my tongue on that for the time being, because we have important character developy things going on. Yeah, Sora's getting a bit angry. And, well, Donald and Goofy have had enough of his, crap, and, well, yeah. And, you know, they are right. They are kind of tackling this very reasonably for, well, you know, characters who are rather simple-minded. But yeah, Sora, again, he is acting out, but at the same time it's very understandable, because you might look at Sora as being overly angsty over somebody he barely knows, but at the same time, if you've had something so deeply rooted in your memories, and, you know, it sits there as if it's always been there, you're gonna have trouble and you're gonna have a lot of conflict, which, again, makes this scene feel very natural, and to someone like Sora who does wear his emotions on his sleeve, this reaction is human, understandable, and God, again, like I said, it is terrifying, because had Namine been of more malicious intent, well, honestly, I don't think things would have resolved themselves quite as cleanly as they do, and, you know, Donald and Goofy themselves, you know, they're trying to cope with the situation as best they can, you know, they're trying to make him think with a straight and clear head by telling him to slow down and stop, but Sora is just full on, let's go after Namine, but, God, this dude is just think things through? Goofy, you strange, bizarre creature, we do not think things through here! The best course of action is just to charge on through without thinking and panicking and acting purely on emotions. So yes, we can lie back, take a nap, and that'll be... So, yeah, Sora goes off on his own, and, actually something that is unique to this world, Destiny Islands, is that you do not have Donald and Goofy with... Well, I kind of spoiled the next world, but whatever. Screw it. I'll save that tangent for next time. And by that I mean after this cutscene. Because, yes, we have Axel being evil and plotting, and, well, finally letting Namine do something. Why is he doing this? What are his motives? Find out in Kingdom Hearts 2/358 over 2 days, / the rest of the series-ish. Until we find out whatever Subject X is that he and, Sykes were looking for in Kingdom Hearts 3? Whatever. The point is, Namine is finally free to go off and meet Sora for the first time, and let's just say, well, things are gonna clear the air. Also, a very interesting line coming up. Not this one. Come on. There it is. No, it's the next one, goddammit. Oh my god, a Disney property mentioned hell. My world has been destroyed. Even though I'm pretty sure... Yeah, and Sora's just pretty much like, Jiminy, shut the fuck up, you bitch! And then Jiminy Jillikers is just like, oh my word, Sora! I think the scene is honestly kind of a little bit sold better in Rechain of Memories when you have Haley Joel Osment, you know, getting to act a little bit more angry. Here's the thing though, actually, and a bit of a curiosity. I mentioned that in the next world, which is, well, Destiny Islands, as you'll see here, you don't get Donald or Goofy, so I'm curious, if you go back to any previous worlds, do they not show up either? Something for a test playthrough, I suppose. But anyway, let us clear our minds as we go back to the salad days. Yes, this is Destiny Islands, rocking a theme which is honestly one of my favourite variants of the Destiny Islands theme, and, quite frankly, one of my favourite levels in this game. It's just so peaceful, and, like, I mean, the artwork on the GBA is just... well, it's calming to say the least, and, oh, what is this? It is our friends, Selphie, Tidus, and Wakka, all of them from Final Fantasy X and 8. Kinda weird that Selphie is, like, here instead of somebody else. I mean, honestly would have thought they would have put Yuna on, Destiny Islands initially, but they save her for Kingdom Hearts 2, I suppose. I know, it's really weird the way they chose characters for Kingdom Hearts, because, like, I mean, I mentioned previously in Kingdom Hearts 1, like, Ayabria was gonna be in, bloody Aerith's role, you know. I'll talk about Final Fantasy characters in a little bit, but yeah, remember when Tidus, Wakka, and Selphie used to be friends with Sora, Riku, and Kairi? Good times. They kind of disappeared from the series after Kingdom Hearts 2. Well, Tidus and Wakka have their last appearance here, whereas Selphie only has, like, one code appearance, you know, chasing after Kairi in Kingdom Hearts 2, and that's about all we see of these characters. So, if you wanted to team up with Tidus, screw you, because we don't need the Final Fantasy characters anymore. But yeah, they are constantly making references to her rather than Namine, or that other chick, you know, the other one, what was her name again? Renoa? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Pretty sure it was Lightning, Terra, one of those two. Rydia? Oh, whatever happened. Who are you guys again? What's this recording set up in front of me? Is that Final Fantasy? Who is this kid? Sorry, I completely forgot where I was for a moment. Anyway, onwards to pressing matters. They're just teasing us, and, well, yeah, thanks, Final Fantasy characters. We enjoyed your cameo appearance. Which, yeah, I guess, if I could delve into a little bit of a personal bitter tangent for me, I think I might have mentioned this all the way in the earlier parts of the commentary, but, like, I mean, the neglect of Final Fantasy characters, I'm very half and half on it, because, I mean, I've heard in interviews Tetsuya Nomura stating that they aren't entirely necessary to the series anymore because of the fact that Kingdom Hearts has built up its own cast of, characters. I'm kind of half and half on that, considering the fact that, you know, the Final Fantasy and Disney elements were there at the beginning of the series. You know, they were part of the series' DNA to have those contrasting elements between something that's lighthearted and whimsical, you know, versus something that's a little bit more, you know, fantasy-like in a Japanese kind of sense. I don't know, it just kind of pains me to see that a lot of these characters are just kind of getting shafted, because, like, I mean, as I mentioned before, the, you know, Cloud and Sephiroth battle thing is still going on. No resolution as far as I know, unless Kingdom Hearts Remind does something with it. You know, we still have a bunch of other characters that were going to make an appearance in one of the games. I believe Laguna was going to make an appearance in Birth by Sleep. And, you know, as I mentioned before, I believe... I don't know if this was rumor or if this was, just some, like, something that was initially planned for Dream Drop Distance, but apparently Lightning was initially going to be in that game. I think that might have been rumor though, so I could be completely wrong on that. Considering, you know, all the Final Fantasy Versus 13 imagery in Kingdom Hearts 3 with Verum Rex, I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy 15 might have possibly been a thing in that game, had things gone Nomura's way. I don't know, it's very confusing and a bit of a sorely missed part of the series, because, you know, while I do like Kingdom Hearts' original characters, at the same time though, well, there is a bit of them lacking in, well, roles specifically, because most of the characters that we do have are Keyblade wielders, and, you know, the few that we don't have were either former villains, like, you know, the 6 of Ansem, you know, Ansem Secret of Darkness. Sorry, I completely got my words crossed. Basically the 6 of Ansem's apprentices that were, you know, working for Radiant Garden. And, everybody else is just, well, either filled by a Disney character, you know, from Disney's legacy, or just random people. So again, like, I mean, that doesn't exactly, I think, give them all rights to just outright replace characters that have been there since the first game, like, you know, the Radiant Garden Restoration Committee, like, you know, Squall, Yuffie, and Aerith, and Sid. I don't know, like, I mean, I would like to see some of the other characters in there, but I mean, I guess, since it does sort of cover the broader end of Square Enix, this shouldn't really limit them to just, you know, Final Fantasy or The World Ends With You. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure some people would like to, I don't know, see maybe the Bouncer get a bit of a cameo. I don't know, I think it'd be fun. And that being said, I am still holding on to my theory that Sion is Sora's father. I don't know, I think it'd make for a nice reference. I suppose you could honestly argue that the relevance of the Final Fantasy characters is nebulous, but at the same time, I'm also going to bring up, you know, the Disney worlds also kind of being bullshit. Within certain parameters, mind you, because, I mean, I will say this, I do love Kingdom Hearts 3 for... excuse me. For giving a lot more playful interactions, like, you know, Woody roasting Xehanort, or, you know, having Captain Jack Sparrow attack Luxord with his whiskey breath. To me, that's the sort of stuff I like in Kingdom Hearts, a little bit less so when you have shit like, you know, entirely recreating the scenes of Tangled and Frozen, except you throw in Sora, Donald, and Goofy just sort of standing there in the background while a movie plays out. I don't think it's... It's part of the series, yes, but at the same time, if it doesn't really advance anything in terms of the original game storyline, why is it really there? You know, because, like, I mean, as much as superfluous as the Final Fantasy characters were, you could at least say that early on in Kingdom Hearts 1, you know, Squall, Yuffie, and Aerith were basically there as Sora's sort of home base kind of thing, you know, when he used to go back and frequent Traverse Town. It just strikes me as a little bit odd, really. Like, I mean, I guess now they would probably use the Land of Departure with, you know, Aqua, Terra, and Ventus as their sort of Keyblade wielder home base, or I guess Yensid's Tower as the series has kind of fashioned it up to this point. Yeah, but even still, that's, well, I don't really know what to say. It's a bit disappointing, and I at least hope that future games do kind of rectify this, because, you know, people do still love these characters, and especially in the case of, you know, Sephiroth and Cloud's little battle, and my own person to see Renoa in a Kingdom Hearts game, if only to satisfy my inner Final Fantasy VIII nut. It'd be nice. You know, do a little something for me. But I think I've rambled on long enough. These enemies aren't native to Destiny Islands, they're pretty much been borrowed from, I think, Wonder and Captain Hook's world. But regardless of such. And actually also a little bit of Hollow Bastion there, actually. Again, and you do also get a decent battle theme playing here, which is, I think it's the Night of Fate. Good battle track, decent piano ambience. Again, it's part of the reason why Destiny Islands is one of my favourite levels, which really doesn't show up in Kingdom Hearts as a playable level enough in my eyes. Like, I mean, the only times it is playable is the first game, Chain of Memories, Coded. I think that's about it, actually. Unless, of course, you count, like, the choices you can make in Dream Drop Distance when you play as Riku, when he's talking to Ventus, Roxas, and Shion. I don't know. I don't really count that, to be honest, and I was kind of hoping for a HD playable Destiny Islands in Kingdom Hearts 3, but... whatever. I do hope that it does come back in a future game, but who knows. And I suppose at this stage... I was kind of hoping you'd get to play on it in Birth by Sleep since it appears as an actual world, but it's just there purely for cutscenes where they just sort of wallow around in angst before they meet Sora, before Terra, Ventus, and Aqua meet Sora and Riku as kids. Anyway, like before, again, the experience is triplified, and you are going to need it because, well, the upcoming battles ahead are only going to get more difficult. The next two battles against Riku and Loxine aren't really much to talk about, but, well, let's just say the last two are scary. I wouldn't say quite to the level of Vexen or Vexen, but still pretty tough. And Riku, because this be the real Riku, the good Riku, the lad that we fought against with swords, and, you know, the one that Sora stuck his fingers in his mouth because he's a very thirsty boy who wants his boyfriend nice and ready for him when he grows up. But no, this is just the Riku from Sora's memories, who was much more pleasant, and I guess more reminiscent of how he was back before, you know, anything Keyblade related was coming into the picture. Oh, Sora, don't be sad, my dear sweet child. I gotta wonder, actually, like, I mean, I did kind of bring this up with the Spooky Boogie, but, like, what happens when these characters have self-realization? Because, I mean, Aerith seemed to be aware that she was a figment of Sora's imagination, or at least have an inkling to believe it. But Riku seems pretty cool with it, or he doesn't entirely feel convinced. Kind of brings up an existential question of its own. If your memories are interactive, or, you know, have a sense of purpose, can they escape this realm? Do they require a replica vessel for it? Oh, well, these existential questions will have to wait, because now we are going to be heading into a boss fight against, well, a character that is honestly one of the few recurring bosses in every single Kingdom Hearts game. Yes, what will we be finding soon? A destroyed island, which is actually a pretty cool recreation of how Kingdom Hearts 1 was right when Destiny Islands was being consumed by darkness. But yes, it is Darkside, the dark half of Sora. Well, get yourself a drink, a Pepsi, some chips and dip, my friends, because, well, dudes and dudettes, we're going to be in for the long haul here. This boss fight will take goddamn forever, which makes sense considering that it is Darkside here, but yeah, you don't really have a lot of opportunities to really jump up and hit him, so to speak, but yeah, his weak spot is on his head, and, well, you're basically just going to have to make do with this very small arena. It's nothing too difficult, it just takes a lot, and he does hurt, well, quite obviously so, considering how giant of an enemy he is, but again, compared to some of the other bosses in the game, nothing too difficult. So, to help me with this, I prepared my handy-dandy tangents, which I kind of exposited already because I mentioned them like a brief dumbass. I suppose I should probably also go into this. I mean, I did already mention before that Donald and Goofy do not appear as friend cards in this world. Again, you still have access to your other sort of summons, like, you know, Genie, Mushu, Cloud and all that. But yeah, in terms of getting Donald and Goofy, well, you're out of luck. Don't know if this goes for the previous worlds, but there you go. Jesus. So, what am I going to ramble on about this time that's tangentially related to Kingdom Hearts? Suppose I could possibly go into, I guess, where I think Kingdom Hearts is going for the future, or at least where it is as of now, because, I mean, at this stage, the Darkseeker saga involving basically everything from Kingdom Hearts 1 through to, well, Kingdom Hearts 3, in terms of Xehanort saga, which started with Ansem, continued on with Xemnas, then began the whole Xehanort plot, has been resolved. Except kind of, but not really, because certain characters like Xigbar and, you know, all the stuff that was in Union Cross has been brought up, and that's going to be the main focus from this point on. Like, I mean, while I do like Kingdom Hearts 3 for resolving everything, albeit a little bit haphazardly, there is one thing that I'm curious about, and that's more so, I guess, the nature of Kingdom Hearts to really drive you to question forward and keep those questions on you to, you know, keep on buying future games in the series, which isn't a bad tactic in and of itself. It's just that some games do a much better job of feeling conclusive than others, kind of like Kingdom Hearts 2, for example, where, had it not been for, you know, that one letter from the King telling them to go for the Mark of Mastery exam, you know, which basically led into Dream Drop Distance, I honestly do not think, well, this series would have been as open-endedly convoluted as it was. In fact, I don't think it'll really get to that stage until Birth by Sleep really kicked into gear the whole mystery box after mystery box. And again, in terms of what we have now, the Masters of Masters, the Foretellers, and all that sort of stuff, honestly, the thing that I'm hoping for most is that, you know, with the whole Union Cross being a browser game and everything, the fact that you have to constantly keep tabs on it to understand what's going on in the plot, I kind of hope we either get, like, another animated movie like we did with Unchained X, which, you know, detailed the Foretellers having a bit of a fallout in the last Keyblade War and all that sort of thing. I kind of hope that Union Cross has something akin to that, or if not that, then like a game story like the player character that you create in the browser game, and, you know, you basically detail the events, and, you know, whenever Kingdom Hearts 4 comes around, which will probably be quite a while considering the episodic release of Final Fantasy VII, well, assuming all goes according to plan, hopefully that would have a lot of people feeling a lot less confused, because that was one of the things that I do kind of find a little bit interesting, because, I mean, you could argue Kingdom Hearts had kind of always had the whole, you need to follow this spin-off in order to understand what's going on here, here, and here. Again, that being said, though, I don't quite consider Kingdom Hearts as egregious of an example compared to a game like, say, Infamous or Devil May Cry 3, in the sense that you literally had to read prequel comic books, manga, and novels to understand exactly where the characters were at that point in time. And if you don't include that sort of stuff in the game itself, people are going to be lost, because, I mean, as much as people kind of bag on the reading material, like the Ant and Xehanort reports, at the very least they do detail the backstory, so, you know, and even Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of lampshaded this with Jiminy Jilliker saying, yeah, check the wiki, because the shit's confusing, yo. But again, it's oh, speaking of Devil May Cry, actually, one feature that I kind of think should be standard for any sort of long-running series is like a history of little mini-movie, which, in a Devil May Cry 5's case, basically detailed the entire series in chronological order, going from Devil May Cry 3, 1, the animated series, 2, 4, and, you know, the present game. I don't know, I think that sort of feature would be really helpful, because, like, I mean, not only is it a little bit more visual, I mean, it is mainly still text with a bunch of stylized pictures, but I think for a lot of people it's a little bit more easier to get across, or at the very least in today's generation of I don't give a fuck about reading, because reading is for nerds! I don't know. It's just that those little conveniences help when it's, you know, highlighted and it gives you the backstory if you do want to know about it. But other than that though, you know, with the way Kingdom Hearts functions, like, I mean, in the previous games like Chain of Memories, Birth by Sleep, and Dream Drop Distance or whatever, I don't think there was really any problem with having this, you know, sort of spin-off media relegated to at least games, because, you know, you could call Coded pointless all you want, but I mean, at least it was a game that people could pick up and, you know, actually play. I mean, I don't know. It's always been one of the more divisive aspects of the series, and one that I do think is rightfully called out for not, you know, getting players up to speed. I think Chain of Memories is a bit of a less egregious example for people getting confused in Kingdom Hearts 2, because I don't know if maybe it's like, again, then this might sound really insulting, so I mean no disrespect, but this might just be an American thing of not really picking up on, like, visual storytelling, but I mean, the intro movie of Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of gives you all that you need. Like, I mean, it recaps the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, it goes through what was basically Chain of Memories anyway, which is, you know, Sora, Donald, and Goofy fighting their way through Heartless, ascending a tower, you know, Riku and the King on the other side going the other way because they were completely opposite of, you know, Sora and the gang. You know, they go up, fight Marluxia, Riku defeats Ansem, and basically, well, Sora is sent to sleep by Namine, and, well, that's where Kingdom Hearts 2 kicks off. Like, I mean, despite the fact that Sora doesn't really remember Chain of Memories by the end of it anyway, it's... well, I mean, it's just sort of confusing in the sense that they don't really pick up on that. I kind of lost the plot where I was going, but then again, that's the nature of this. This boss fight just takes forever. I mean, a lot of his attacks are generally the same sort of stuff he was doing in Kingdom Hearts 1. He'll shoot out energy balls, he'll mash his hand into the ground, summon some Heartless for you to beat up, and that's about it. Excuse me for that, my editor was lagging, so I hope my audio didn't get cut off at certain points. Which it has a tendency of doing, because this computer is laggy and starting to show its age in places a little bit. But yeah, that's the gimmick card. It basically gives you a platform to hit the boss. In Chain of Memories, though, it actually becomes like a series of pillars, so you don't have to worry about falling off that little sort of platform. But anyway, the boss is finally dead, thank fuckity Christ. And Darkside's enemy card costs a lot of card points to use, so like I said, if you're going to be planning on using some of the boss enemy cards, well, make sure you have the card points for it. But what is this? Have we finally reached the end of our destination? Is Namine here on this island? Blood? Yes, she is. Thank goodness. Namine, we're here to rescue... Sora, you saved me! Oh, the happy, cheerful music in this dark, depressing wasteland. Oh, truly nothing can tear them apart. Oh, but it seems there is regret going on, and, yeah, this is where Sora learns the truth, and his world is thrown into absolute chaos. And, I mean, like I said, I mean, if you were having the truth unfurled to you before your eyes, especially considering the fact that, you know, Sora had this implanted in him for a, well, basically, well, I mean, as early as the castle, but to him it would have been years and years and years ago, so... yeah, this would be pretty difficult to swallow for anybody, I think. Maybe it's just my mind wandering to dark places, and this is something I do plan on talking about in the final parts, at least when it comes to a certain choice being made, but, well, actually, you know what, screw it, I'll say it now. Like, I mean, if Namine was, you know, a more villainous presence, like, not necessarily working with the organization, but somebody who was alone for so long, and had the opportunity to have her first friend in years and wanted to keep him, you know, severing his ties with everybody else and just keeping Sora all for herself, that, well, that could lead to some very, very interesting, like, boss sort of backstory. I don't know. Interesting to think about. Maybe I'll go into detail on it at a later point, but I don't know, it would have been an interesting twist, I think, but maybe not one that would have been fitting for Chain of Memory, since, you know, we already have the convolution of the organization plot already well in hand, plus considering the fact that Namine was really only born around about the same time Roxas was, when, you know, Sora stabbed himself and released his and Kairi's heart, and became a Heartless temporarily. Yeah, Namine was born in Castle Oblivion. No memories, no idea of who she was, and powers of memory manipulation. It's very tragic, and something that I do think is genuinely heartbreaking, but something that also could have been used as a very tragic backstory for a villain. But yeah, who's ready for another cameo appearance from... what was her name again? I guess we'll have to call into our heart. Yes, you there, the viewers, tap into your inner power, summon a CG cutscene that will be compressed into the Game Boy Advance, and we will see Sora calling out to his heart as we fade to darkness. Yes? You're doing it, viewers! You're doing it! Just come on, summon the power. It's a good luck charm. In its true form. But who is this? It's Kairi! I remember her now! Well, Sora doesn't, but he does find her familiar. Yes, Kairi, that meddlesome woman thing that's getting in the way of Sora and Riku's love. God, she makes me angry. Well, I say that in jest. I'm kind of more angry at the fact that this series just seems to waste Kairi and not know what to do with her. Maybe a playable appearance could, you know, kind of improve her standing a little bit more, you know? If you could do it in Kingdom Hearts 4 or, you know, the next game, that'd be nice. Anyway, I'll save my bitterness for later, so on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories commentary, well, we're gonna be tackling the next world good and proper. Catch you next time, dude and dudettes, for the penultimate part.